equitable provision to meaningful outcome. To meaningful outcome of Kisedep. Of Kisedep. Whereby of refugees from that education infrastructure of teaching staff livelihoods. Subvention impacts to the refugees. It is not a replacement of Kisedep, but rather an enhancement. Who are driving those programs should not worry. It's being created. Very important that we all read from the STEM for the refugees over the 12-year period, because it is founded on various legal plan and policy frameworks. It is being created where there will be additional resources, an expanded scope, a bigger field to play in that translates to better outcomes for the refugees over the 12-year period. It is founded on various legal and policy frameworks. It is not just an invention, starting with the 1967 protocol, which obligates a host country to grant asylum to a person seeking protection for the fear of my life. We have to accommodate this person. Other things will follow. Or to be a refugee, how we have managed refugees to a point that we have come to Shirika Plan. I will not mention all of them. They are some. But in the interest of time, I will pick to a point that we came up with, and they will be get support for the host country. So that is something you may want. Just makes you more vulnerable. A number of times of refugees and plan to facilitate a gradual transit camp management into government HCR led and partners. Government was back seat. Now it is government front seat, then partners back seat. Transitioning systematically over the 12-year period so that we get to that situation where we have a harmonious society. In the municipality, no more camps. In the municipality, no more camps. Shirika Plan, the institutions for health, the institutions for access to health, the institutions for access to digital economy, and this new population of special persons called refugees. It aims to ensure predictable and sustainable resources. Predictable. This time, no. Predictable. This time, no. Yeah. So we find we run into crisis. You cannot predict when that support. We cannot predict when that support. We are able to generate. Plan. And when we plan, we have better refugees. Plan. And when we plan, we have better refugees and host. We don't have to panic. System that is running, that has that process, and grow together going forward. It has 3 phases. Right now we are in the first phase. The foundation, the legal and policy frameworks in place, and developing institutional capacity. Build them. Where do we need to change? By that time, hopefully, the systems will be up and running, and Shirika Plan will be like automatic, second nature. So it's just second nature. So it's just to sustain. The mindset of Shirika Plan is built on 6 pillars, or 6 pillars, or 6 approaches, how it is, or 6 approaches, how it is going to be done. 6 approaches, how it is going to be done, where we have to include them in our laws, so that, and say, if you want me to bring a road here, you must show support to me by singing. You must show support to me by singing in the market and lifting banners with my name. so that it is not tied to any one individual. It is there in the law that there is supposed to be provision of a budget. There is supposed to be provision of a budget to drive these interventions or this plan. And that money cannot be diverted. And that money cannot be diverted. Policies, because government's putting up a policies, because government's putting up a refugee policy, which is happening right now, to ensure that those interventions, resources and opportunities, starting with the DRS. The student in Kakuma can also ensure the student in Kakuma can also ensuring that we are ready. The foundation services, after putting in place the systems, now various services in different fields, they are now driven in a way that they integrate refugees. They bring refugees on board. Key amongst these services are education, country, so that it is more benefiting materials, provision. Kenya education system, when you get a degree, integrated services is bringing up policies, the refugee as any other qualification by a Kenyan student in another part of the country, ensuring water provision. If industry develop initiatives goes down, and what happens? Population in no, but when there is electricity active that can contribute, again, laws, policies, that privileges and protection that ensure you lead a dignified, decent life. There are various and gazetted programs as IM's development. This is about capacity, adult education and continuous. The fourth through which Shirika plan is looked at is called climate action and economic development. When I say climate action and of that pillar comes in place to bring about interventions that will mitigate the harsh effect. A lot of trees. And what is that leading to? Empty bare land, which is affecting the weather in a way that is not good. So coming up with initiatives that will back into the environment, conducive, you know, just to ensure that we conserve water. When we have those seasonal rains and there is a heavy downpour, it does not go into waste. But farming, introducing those speech weather, Chinese, because of that special of population they have. But if they are Chinese here, they will think and see. They are type of insect, crickets, and the rest. The second, this is regretting how we have divided walls and stop thinking. But around you, when you get the right education, what it comes to do, it comes to transform in order to achieve priorities, because the county also reducing business, enhance trade, initiatives, growth, business so that durable solutions, growth, business so that durable solutions are only three, about the situation, but third about the situation. But third Kanka plan is established. Representatives from the refuge to implement and drive plan, from the refuge to implement and drive plan, governance structure, several minutes that are gazetted initial minutes that are gazetted initial is the plan implementation matter on the 3rd of August. The plan implementation matter on the 3rd of August. The document. So what follows now going forward is municipalities. Municipalities. The municipalities. And after that, so that it can be able to mobilize and municipalities for driving every quarter to see how far are we down. It is for driving every quarter to see how far are we down the track. So there is an elaborate implementation matrix that is very detailed, which is available to the counties or the municipalities in Kakuma and in Dadaab that gives the nuts and pin can be on you, so that at the end of and be on you, so that at the end of and the Nairobi office to the county here, there is a Shirika Plan Sensitization Forum in Kakuma. That is the official one, but me, I have taken a shortcut for you. I've put you ahead. You can always reach us at our offices this matter. So thank you so much for your attention.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to Tambuliza
about the Shirika? You said, but I doubt that. So what if even support the refugees programs, maybe that economics? And again, this minister called Shirika plans matter with a high level, like maybe without sometime knowing who provides. Because after that, we need to see what is the impact after that. So according to our level, we are not understanding. It is just like
I'm not in support of Shirika plant, but for the questions that I have, it's like the Shirika plan is like, for example, let's say for this 12 years period, those people, or economically, but not for themselves, are they likely to be integrated? There were no refugees in there could be part.
Thank you so much. Those are very hard questions, but it's good. Let's ask the hard questions so that we understand this thing. What happens if leaders who don't support Shirika plan are elected? Well, it will die. That is why sensitization, which is at the forefront of rollout, the cabinet secretaries in charge of different government ministries are secretaries, and the chiefs in the various government departments and entities to understand what this Shirika plan is, why it is beneficial both for the refugees and the host communities in the long term. Because if they don't understand, it will be very difficult to get support and drive from them. And this sensitization is going to roll down from the national level to the counties. And in our case, these Turkana counties, the key stakeholders, the partners that support and sponsor this will be sensitized so that we all understand and appreciate investment in the communication strategy to ensure that the message of Shirika Plan is clearly understood from the top. For you, I have just put you ahead, but that is a more elaborate program that would bring awareness and the need for everybody to buy into this program. So that fear of having a leader who does not support Shirika Plan will be partly addressed by that. But also, I mentioned that there are legal and policy attention that is given to the refugee municipalities are enshrined in law. As those interventions are in the law, there is nothing much he can do. He can only complain. But there is compulsory or an obligation requirement for the government to provide allocation or funds to drive those initiatives. So that's the importance of the first pillar, which I said is systems building pillar. So it is a very well thought out process that will answer that concern. On the issue of refugees and they don't know where it is coming from, that is true. That is what Shirika Plan aims to solve. Because everybody is coming in, mobilizing resources, and picking an area to intervene. without talking to the backstage. Because these people who carry resources, they have now the freedom to use the resources how they prefer. But Shirika Plan aims to solve that by bringing all these stakeholders on one table to have a common, a shared understanding of the benefits of Shirika Plan and the benefits of working together, so that there are no overlaps, there is accountability on the various interventions. So you will be able to know which political would have happened for such support. I think there were no such support. I think there were no refugees. I don't know. I don't know. I would say it depends on the politics of the day. So I would say it depends on the politics of the day. So I really don't.
Thank you.
I really don't.
Thank you. In the morning to AI, right? On Shirika Plan, mention that changes